Yes.
Motion carries.
Is there a motion for the approval of accounts payable listing?
So moved.
Motion made by Commissioner Henderson,
Support.
supported by Commissioner Singleton. Is there discussion? Commissioner Singleton.
There's one for 6,000, let's see, 6,000. Southwest Michigan Community Action.
What page, Commissioner?
This is on the first page of the total list, the second page of the package here. And it's for the,
If we look at, excuse me for interrupting, if we look at page 6, what you'll see there is for Southwestern Michigan Community Action, and the CDBG director could speak to this a little more fluently than I can, but that's part of the home rehabilitation projects that are on tap right now. One was an emergency loan for a new furnace, and the other is for lead and asbestos studies. So in terms of determining what those costs could be for a whole home rehab.
Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Henry?
Chair, I just have one question to ask, if you would give that opportunity to me.
Yes, ma'am.
There is a charge for I'm sorry. 360 HR Services LLC. Can you please tell me what that is?
That is what that is, commissioners. That's we have outsourced human resources services. They provide legal legal consulting to us, as well as they do other things like background checks, etc., for new employee hires.
Oh, do we have a contract with them?
I believe we do.
We
Yes.
do? Is it possible for us to have that contract and we can review it, and so we can find out exactly what services we're paying for?
Yes, that's fine.
Will you give that to us
For
as a
360.
body? Explain more to us about what this service is offering for us.
Okay.
There's a couple of other LLCs like Flavor Management LLC, Ferrara Investment. I just need information, and I'm sorry I didn't ask before we got here, but you could give me that information later. Thank you. Did you get that other one through the chair, city manager?
I got favor. What was the other one, Commissioner? I'm sorry.
Yeah, I would just recommend, I know the state of Michigan, they have where every contract that the state has entered into, they have the name of the contractor, the service that's being provided, and a copy of the contract online. So any contract that the state of Michigan has entered into, it is completely transparent in terms of what the contract is and what the services, et cetera, are being provided and how much. So if that's something in the future, I know it probably can't be by next meeting, but if we can implement that to where city council, residents, community can see what contracts the city are currently engaged in. Is that
Yes, sir.
Commissioner Henry,
Yes.
Commissioner Singleton,
Yes.
Commissioner Harrelson,
Yeah.
Commissioner Isom,
Yes.
Commissioner Henderson. Yes. Commissioner Jones,
Yes.
Mayor Mohammed.
Yes. The record reflect that Commissioner Adams is present.
So moved.
This brings us to our presentation, which we have one today. We have a visitor out of Detroit here with us today. We have Mrs. Anna Russo Sieber with us here today, who champions the Muhammad Ali. I don't know, center is the right word.
ARS Arts and Culture Center. May I pass out things to follow?
Get to the question.
So, well, I want to just say hi to everyone.
Speak to the microphone, please.
Sure. I'm Anna Russo Sieber, as the mayor said. I have been running ARS Gallery Arts and Culture Center. I can talk loud, I don't believe for almost a decade. And we offer arts programming in the community. And we collaborate with John Tovey, the artist, who has brought in the I Am the Greatest sculptures that you see around town. Oh, there I am. Hello. We have the heart to bring in murals now as well. And I believe in the arts, obviously, or I wouldn't be here so long in doing that. And I just want to turn it over to Mr. Sauvé so he can talk a little bit about this mural project. Thank you.
Thank you. Actually, what we want to do is not take up too much time, but follow up on a conversation we had with Mayor Mohammed a few weeks back. And we talked about having murals throughout the city of Benton Harbor. Not just the city center, but throughout the whole city. One of the things we don't have is a budget, but I work best without a budget. And our whole idea is introduce the idea, get people to mull it over, understand what it is, and then what we're gonna do is work with the mayor and come up with some guidelines for this mural project, which will highlight different aspects of the community. We're gonna focus on artists from outside the community as well as inside the community. We find that people that do this for a living would probably like to be a part of the project, and that commingling with young artists from the community would be one of the focuses too, just so that we make sure that there's this cross-pollination and really giving people opportunities. Another one of the outcomes on the list that we gave you, kind of the overview of the project, is we're hoping to have kids art programming through ARS Gallery integrated into this project as well. So not only are we putting up murals to highlight and show you care about the community, but also have kids from the community involved in it with an education aspect through the gallery as well. So again, this is a follow-up that we had with Mayor Mohammed and Anna from ARS Gallery right down the road, who does kids art programming and has done it for the last 10 years in the area. We wanted to make this introduction to the council to make sure you were good with it, find out what the right way to go about it is going forward, and just keep this as a brief introduction.
So I see here where it says identify public and private buildings for Benton Harbor Mural Project. If you could just talk about in Detroit, what kind of work you're currently doing along this list.
So I worked with a few different projects in the city of Detroit. The first one I was introduced to murals was called Grand River Creative Corridor. Grand River is one of the main arteries that goes from the city out to the suburbs, and we concentrated on about a 1.5 mile along that corridor that was right downtown. And at the time, it was mostly blight, mostly abandoned buildings, and that's where the mural project got started, was because the decay, they didn't want that. They didn't want to leave that up in the open like that, and so when the murals came in, that whole neighborhood got revitalized. It's a simple thing, it happens all the time. You invite the artists in, they work with what they have, and then the property value goes up. Same equation, it's been time tested over and over again. That's not really the case we have in Benton Harbor. We're looking at it more as just a way to show that you care. And I don't think we really have any abandoned buildings, so the whole idea is identify buildings that would be prime for this project, where either the owner, or if it's a city-owned building, would want to turn that into a destination.
And there's a huge percentage of folks that travel, say in the summer, and it's proven like 65% of the people come to communities where there is art, history, you know, like Morton Hill, you know, art galleries, mural projects, public art projects like the I Am the Greatest, you know, inspired by Muhammad Ali. Also, I just wanted to add too that when I work with youth, you know, we have around the I Am the Greatest, we have the youth project, the I Am the Greatest workshops. And two of our girls, well, actually quite a few of our girls from the I Am the Greatest were incorporated into the summer arts camps. They had a heart, we worked on a mural, a chalk mural, temporary. They were so pumped up about it that we hired a teacher. They worked on it for 8 weeks, and then they installed it in the youth center at the Boys and Girls Club. And it's called 600 Safe Street. And I'd rather have them come in and talk about what that's the meaning behind that. They'll make you cry. If I talk about it, I don't want to cry tonight. So anyway, that's just one example. That's inside, but we're talking outside murals.
So basically, we just want to make this introduction, and then Mayor, go forward with you and find out what the best way to go about it is. And don't really want to take any more time unless you have questions.
Name for the record.
Your name?
Oh, my name is John Sauve, S-A-U-V-E.
Commissioner Henry?
Great idea. Murals have been going on for generations, and what I would suggest that you could bring a full presentation to the committee that's appropriate, whatever it may be, Parks and Recs or Planning and Economic Development, and give a full presentation and see where we can collaborate.
I would love to give you a full presentation, but we don't have a presentation, other than we want to get some guidelines, work with the mayor's office to come up with something so it's set. When there is some donor, when there is some artist, and we can make a connection, it'll be a case-by-case basis. It's a place to get started. I'd love to give you a full-blown presentation, but we don't have budget. So the idea is it's the cart before the horse. We're just trying to get it started in a controlled way so it's not just chaos. So we'd be working directly with Mayor Muhammad to identify these different murals as they are proposed, and then connecting those with buildings as we go. I mean, I'd love to say we're gonna do this, 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 and this, but.
Well, sooner or later, you're gonna have to come back to a committee.
Right.
That's right.
If you get to the point where you're ready to
absolutely.
do something, then.
So this would be the introduction, and that's a perfect example of what we were talking about too. This is the introduction, and as we come up with a project that's funded, has an artist, has a location, we'll definitely be back. But instead of giving you like, oh, we're gonna do all these, we're gonna do, every time we get one, we're gonna kind of have it make sense, come and propose it to you. So you gotta get a chance to see it. You gotta get an understanding of who the artist is and everything. So I'm with you 100%. It's just I wish we had a lot of money. We could just make it all happen at once, but it's gonna be as we go. And we just wanted to make sure you were good with it before we started doing this type of thing and bringing those proposals forward. So I appreciate that question. Thank you.
If the mural reflects our culture, I will be very pleased.
Well,
If
we already
the
have a couple
mural
local.
Also includes not just children,
Mhm.
but some of our seasoned artists, I will be so glad.
Well, then you're
So-
gonna like what we're bringing.
So thank you
Because
for
we've got
coming.
some stuff ready for you.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions?
So, say from a private building perspective, of course, you know, it's property rights, so if someone wanted to collaborate and work with the organization, then of course, by all means, of course, if you're pulling permits and all those types of things, that's something totally different. But if there's a partnership where, say, something on the side of the public library, some type of culturally loaded images, or it's a number of buildings that we have, private as well as public, that are just standing without any real identity.
I wanna go more inner city too.
Yes,
I mean,
yes,
we
and
wanna
of course, the inner
reach
city's
the
a
youth
whole,
and, yeah,
another,
whole gamut.
whole nother
Not
gamut.
just the arts district.
So, I think it really can be, something to beautify and kind of add another dynamic to the city.
It's placemaking, it's another reason, I'm sorry, Mary, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but it's bringing, I get excited because it brings people to the community, you know? And that's what we want.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
This brings us to our citizens' comments. Please register with the city clerk if you have any comments, and this is for public participation as well.
Mr. Jerry Edwards.
Good evening, Mayor and administration, and to those all that are here. Just kind of happy note here. Like, first of all, thank the administration for allowing me, when I first moved back here, you all know, my intention was to kind of get the spirit back into this end of the city as far as Hall Park. So it's basically kind of an update since the last time I did a visual presentation, but class of '83 was great what I heard. No incidents, park, haven't checked it out yet, but I was told it was clean. But also throughout this summer, especially, it seems to have been more activity from larger groups. And people are beginning to start to coming in because they always thought everything done was a family reunion, especially when we started out there every weekend. People would drive by and hump because they always thought it was a family reunion, but after 3 years of consistently doing it, they're finding out, oh, so anybody can do this. There's been some people who live here in the city didn't even know that the picnic tables are orange and black. So they haven't been in the park in a long time. Commissioner Henderson, me and her, we was out there doing yoga. The '83, I heard they had a nice time on the little platform out there doing things. The kids definitely enjoy. We play music for them, and they'll get up there and request a song, and we play it for them, and they'll get up there and do their little thing. So they're looking more for it. So I'd just like to thank the administration for just allowing us to do that, and also the citizens. This last minute, my intentions, and I think the city as a whole would agree, is Hall Park is definitely historical. I mean, personal. A lot of us have family members that you could say made it to the celebrity status, grew up in that park. So with that being said, we can get other companies to have their picnics out there. We can get other entities to come in. The art district is wide open for murals and art pieces from whoever, Richard Hunt, Rico, or whoever, to put historical pieces out there that are culturally motivated and ID'd, where we can walk out there and tell what it is, and not some abstract that we gotta try to figure out what it is. Talk to the more locals, they can tell you. Thank you very much, and thank you all again.
Mr. Michael Roy.
Good evening, Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, Commissioners, staff, guests. I'm wearing two hats today. One is the Berrien County Community Strong Community in Action. And on September 11th, which is Tuesday of next month, 2018, we'll be hosting a 9/11 wreath ceremony being taking place right down here at Resilience Park. So we'd like to invite you to that. It's going to start at 12:15 on Tuesday, September 11th, 2018, on behalf of Berrien County Strong Community in Action, the Benton Harbor chapter. The second hat that I'm wearing tonight is the president of the Benton Harbor Historical Preservation Society. There was a street project that was taking place down at 143 West Wall Street. It's one of the oldest areas of the city, and those bricks that were there are from the 1880s. They were there for the last several days, and as they poured the cement now, they didn't replace the original bricks. They've been sitting there for the last time, so I thought for sure that they were going to go back into one of the oldest sections of the city. So I'd like to know where those bricks went, who has those bricks. I mean, we've had conversations here before about different contractors coming into the city and they don't finish their jobs, or they're half done, or you got to come back to it. So I thought those bricks were going to get placed back in there because they were there all the way up until this weekend or so. But those are some of the oldest bricks of the city from 1880, and just where did they go? And could we possibly bring them back or do something else with it? And that long section, as we go forward with the historical district, really needs to be modified and looked at as to when work gets done there, that we really keep a closer eye. Thank you so much.
Mr. Radolph.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Ray Dawes. I stay at 250 East Wall Street. I had this incident on August 3rd at 1 o'clock in the morning. I was standing in front of my friend's truck. I just came from the north side on Stevens and Greens on my godfather's house. And there was an incident happened in Howard Tower. I don't know what happened. So this officer came, people like, who stay here? I was like, I'll stay here. Like, could you let me in? I said, no, it ain't my job to let you in. Whoever called you was supposed to let you in, right? So he asked me again, but the second time he cursed. So I told him, no, I'm not gonna let you in. Whoever emergency was supposed to let you in. So he politely came down the hill, slammed me on the concrete, put his knee in my chest, and choked me out. And then as I was getting on the ambulance, my sister was going with me. They gave me some kind of fake ticket with loitering, disturbing the peace, and obstructing justice. I'm like, how's I'm doing all this by not letting this officer in? The ticket ain't signed nothing. So I went to the public safety police station, gave me some paper. When I stayed on 1877 Colfax 3 years ago, I went over there at the courthouse. I'm not even in the computer. I don't understand. Was I wrong for not letting him in the building? And as he was choking me, I was telling him, man, they just caught the dude that killed my son, March the 25th. And just the thanks I get, you literally choking me in front of everybody. I don't think that's right. I don't think it's right.
Do you know who the officer was?
Later on in the future, I found out his name was Pooley. 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 And the chief, the sergeant that night was Takamoto. I said, was the camera on, Takamoto? He was like, yes. I said, was this camera on? I said, man, you seen everything he did to me, sir. He made him, I don't know how long he had to go on that ship, but Takamoto expected him for that night, told him to go on home. I got plenty of witnesses that I didn't do nothing. If I'm guilty for not letting him in that building, then so be it. That's how I feel. Thank you, God.
Miss Jerry Morris.
Jerry.
Yes, Geraldine Morris. 1181 Union Street. I wanted to bring it to the commissioners and the public about safety. I live at 1181 Union Street, and well, right next door to Union Park, and who's been a citizen there for 30-some years. And I would just like to find out what kind of I don't know how I should say this. I guess people going back and forward to the park, and sometimes they be kids and things be out there till 11, 12, 1 o'clock at night at the park, and I'm wondering how they, you know, going home, going to bed, getting ready to go to school, you know, the next day. And I was wondering if it could be maybe every once in a while, you know, police could drive by and check and see, you know, what's going on and who out there and doing what. I'm the third house from the park on Union, 1181 Union. And it'd be a lot of different competition and stuff out, you know. But, and a lot of times, like 6 or 7 o'clock, I be out there taking my walk, because I walk by the park every day. And they be, kids and things be out, and it's, to me, that's unsafe. And I don't have any out there, but I still be looking out for the other kids, you know, other people's kids. And I would just like to see if a police could, you know, ride by and, you know, see what's going on and, you know, stop it or whatever, you know. Because I wouldn't want my kids or anyone's kids to get hurt out there at the park. Because sometimes they be playing like they're supposed to, normal, and then all of a sudden fights and stuff do break out. And they be throwing rocks, balls, or whatever, you know. And I'm afraid someone might get a hold of a gun. I wouldn't want to see that happen to anybody. But I was wondering if every once in a while maybe the police could, you know, circle around, you know, because they do come out there when school is out there, so they go to the park. It used to be a lot of the well, not a lot of, but some teachers from the school come out there and practice the kids ball, because this ball season, not basketball, baseball, all of it. So they be out there practicing the kids, you know. And as usual, the parents don't be out there with them, so they have to, you know, most on their own. So I would just like to see if maybe a police would, you know, circle around every once in a while to see, you know. I don't wish anything to happen to any of them, but you never know, you know. And it's unsafe that time of night anyway. You would think that they would be out there 9 and 10 and 11 o'clock at night, but sometimes they do. So anyway, I would like for, you know, the police, you know, check if they can, you know. Anyway, thank you. Thank you, Mayor.
Mr. Matt Longdon.
How you doing? Good.
Mayor Mohammed, City Commission. Thanks. It's just a minute, I guess 3 of introduction. I'm after more than a year in Southwest Michigan, the first primary that we've had in 34 years for the 6th District, United States Congressional District. 2 weeks ago, yesterday, I ended up winning the nomination from the Democratic Party and was just here to introduce myself to everybody. So I'll be running against Fred Upton on November 6th, and just wanted to have a chance to tell you a little bit about myself and what we're trying to do. I'm a 5th generation member of Southwest Michigan. My family grew up here. I'm a doctor, but I'm not the normal kind of doctor. I went to medical school thinking I was going to practice international medicine, and when I finished med school, I ended up being a community organizer for violence prevention in Chicago. I ended up working on children's nutrition programs with Mrs. Obama, and ended up being the first ever national health officer for all the YMCAs in the country. So what I've been working on is making sure that people have healthy lives. I've been named by the Obama White House as one of the top 100 innovators in healthcare in America by creating community health worker jobs that ended up preventing diabetes and saving Medicare lots of money. That led to a Medicare expansion in April of this year to cover diabetes prevention. And now I'm running for Congress for the same reason I went to med school, to help as many people as possible live healthy lives. You can't live your healthiest life if your healthcare system isn't working for you, but you also can't live your healthiest possible life if you're in a toxic environment, if you don't know where you're gonna put a roof over your head or where your next meal's coming from. I understand the importance of city ordinances and regulations, worked with school boards and city councils across the country to work on things like child care regulations and transportation policies, making sure that people have bus stops where they need to be able to get to health care. So as I work to win this election in November, I'm anxious to answer any questions y'all might have of me, and hope that I can work in the same ends of that I've been working for a long time, of just improving people's health. And so thank you for your time. Just wanted to introduce myself. Thank you.
Mr. James Duncan.
I won't stay here long. I'm sorry, I lost 2 daughters. I'm probably the only one probably feel the way you do right now. Just seeing you, I'm sorry for you and Mr. Jitz. We had events going on this weekend, and we had one porta potty down on the river at Mr. Mickey Yarborough Park. Asked about it. We got one bathroom. There was over 200 and some people down there just yesterday. Just keep on asking for things. As a citizen, it's irritating when we see some effort, but not enough effort when it comes to the citizens in this city. With that being said, you guys can do something about it or not do anything about it, but I want to change the subject about the police in this city. We need the police to protect us, the citizens in this town, more than anyone. I get stopped for not wearing a seatbelt. Officer said I didn't have it on. He saw it. He took a picture. Couldn't show me a picture. Wouldn't show me a picture. Let me go. But if that's what they do to me, I know what they're doing to my brothers in this city. I see it all the time. We talk about state man. We talk about all these other entities. So you guys police them. Get them to police themselves and help the citizens out the way they're supposed to be. Thank you for your time.
This brings us to the consent calendar items. Yield to the city manager.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. First resolution is to contract with Code Red. Times is necessary to send out mass alerts to the community. These alerts may be in response to a boil water order, emergency road closure, or inclement weather. Staff has been researching methods that get the message out and allows for the city to ensure the content of the message. Code Red by Unsolved is a solution that provides the necessary components to achieve the desired outcome of notifying the community. Some of the advantages of Code Red are high-speed emergency notification tool used by government agencies to easily deliver geo-targeted, time-sensitive information to the community, has the ability to deliver millions of messages at a time on a device through the highest levels of reliability and speed, attenuates to the communication obstacle faced when connecting with residents and staff. Quote for this service was received from the company in the amount of $5,000, which includes setup and annual costs. Recommendation that Mayor Muhammad and our City Commission approve contracting with Code Red. Contract with Ring Central. City staff has researched methods to improve efficiencies as well as to save money to maximize the revenues of the city. One of the major expenses to the city is utilities, which includes telephone service. As a result, staff has researched ways to cut costs on telephone service. It was determined that voice over internet protocol was the best method to achieve efficiencies and be cost effective. Voice over internet protocol technology enables traditional telephony services to operate over computer networks. Packet switch VoIP puts voice signals in the packet similar to electronic envelope. VoIP packages can be transmitted over VoIP compatible networks such as local area networks. In addition, to traditional voice services. VoIP allows access to advanced applications that allow staff to be more agile and productive. Some additional advantages are it's easy to install, configure, and maintain. Systems are easy to adapt to the organization. Phone numbers follow personnel wherever they go. Range of call features are supported. Older technology, for example, fax is supported. Staff saw proposals from several companies and received information from Ring Central. Recommendation of Mayor Muhammad and Ben Arbor City Commission approved contracting with Ring Central for telephone services for the city of Ben Arbor in the amount of $17,070, which is a one-time equipment and setup fee and monthly fee of $3,943.90. Last is information technology contract with CCANT Technologies. City of Ben Arbor recognizes information technology. IT is essential to its everyday operation. IT is used in almost every aspect of how the city functions. Payroll, elections, tax payment, code compliance, public safety, etc. And without IT, many of the services would not be available. Knowing that IT is what drives the daily operation on all levels, and if something were to happen to IT infrastructure, the city would be unable to function. The city has retained the services of various consultants beginning in the 1990s to ensure the security and reliability of the IT infrastructure. Although the reliability has been improved over the years, further enhancements are needed to improve security, efficiency, and recovery in the event of a disaster. As a result, the city published a request for proposals and received 2 responses from CCANT Technologies and the Tech. Recommendation of Mayor Muhammad and the City Commission approve the awarding of the information technology contract to CCANT Technology for the city of Ben Arbor in the amount of $8,814.31 monthly. Those are your consent calendar items for tonight. Thank you.
Mayor, for point of clarity, please. Notice went to the committee and I thought we was, I didn't see it over here, was a presentation, Mr. Manager, what happened to that?
The gentleman is here for the purposes of the IT, and I didn't put it on as a separate presentation, other than the fact that it would have been something that he would have done at the time of the, if this was separated and a vote. That's the commission's purview. If he would then come up and do it, that's your decision.
The consent calendar has already been approved. And presented by the manager.
Make a motion to table.
The entire consent calendar?
Yeah. Yes.
The approval of the agenda for those who were present was 7-0. And the question was asked prior to voting, are there any items that should be separated? So at this time, either we have to vote on the agenda.
Point of clarity, Honorable Mayor. If we're late, are we voting on the agenda? Because if we're voting on the agenda to vote it up or down, then we still have the right to table.
No, the agenda was approved.
If we can vote up or down, we can vote to table. So that means if you're late, then you can't vote. That's what you're saying, Honorable Mayor, just as a point of clarity.
No, that's not what I said, Mayor Pro Tem. I said that for those who were present.
But there was a vote to table.
Let me finish. There were 7 members present at roll call. 2 were absent. The agenda was approved, the consent calendar items approved 7-0. Presented by the city manager. So if those who voted to approve the agenda so desires to recant and table the agenda, then that is the privilege of the council. But I don't see how or why you would vote at roll call to accept the agenda, the consent calendar items as is, and then all of a sudden, because now it's presented that it needs to be tabled, you switch your vote or flip-flop on your vote.
Can't force a vote, man.
I'm not forcing a vote.
Yes, with the thought of having a presentation that which was discussed in the committee, that would be a presentation. I think that was one of the last questions, if I'm right, Mr. Chairman, that this would come forward with a presentation. And that's what was told.
So is the gentleman here to make a presentation? Please rise.
Sure. There's a vote, there's a vote on the floor.
There's no vote on the floor.
Did he call for the question?
No question.
It was not approved. She made a-
Please.
Good evening.
There was no second.
My name is Steve Burdick. I'm happy to be here. Thanks for giving me a couple minutes. The city put together a request for proposal back in April-May timeframe and asked for an assessment of the current information technology systems and systems to improve what were deemed to be opportunities to improve security and backup and the ongoing maintenance and support of the systems. So my company put together a bid response, which I believe was opened in June. We've had subsequent discussions with the city to clarify and ensure that what we proposed is in accordance with the request proposal specifications. And we've put together what we think is a very comprehensive solution to address what are today some things that, much like other organizations, the thing about technology is it never stands still. If you're not constantly investing in it, it's difficult to stay current because there are lots of bad actors out in the marketplace, really in the world in today's society, that are trying to compromise the data that you have. And so it's important that you do your diligence to secure your backups and ensure that systems are in place to make sure that things are being backed up properly. That's all included in the proposals. As was requested.
Question. Through the chair, we spent a lot of money on the cloud system and a backup system that was supposed to protect all of the police information as well as the city information. Are you part of that cloud, or you're something totally different than that? And then the next question is it true that the bill is going to be $8,000 a month, and what does that carry?
Sure. I'll let the city manager or others speak to the first one.
You have it, go ahead.
Okay, sure. So I don't know what the cloud project is. I don't understand your reference, so your question's not one I'm able to answer.
Right, he's not a part of the Google Cloud.
But he just said for security on technologies, and I've only been dealing with technology for 20 years. So I know about the cloud, I know about Seeking, work with Seeking often. Talking about $8,000 a month. What does that cover? What does that carry?
Sure.
And this cloud with Google Cloud, now are you protecting, what information are you protecting?
So the city has a server today that is operated inside the city's infrastructure. And as this proposal, we take that server, upgrade it into what's called technology as a service or hardware as a service. So we would present a server as a service. The city would not need to invest in the actual hardware. It would just be a monthly service for complete management of both that server and its hardware, its maintenance, and its ongoing support, as well as all of the support of the workstations. And the proposal also includes the network switches and the network wireless for City Hall and the water plant, again, as a service, which is why instead of coming to you with a large upfront investment for, if you invest this amount today, we'll be back to see you in 2 or 3 years or 4 years to say, just as technology will, it's evolved, and in order to keep up, we want to ask you to reinvest. This is a different model wherein you're investing on a monthly basis, but in that investment, it also includes all of the maintenance and support of those systems. So, as I understand it, it's similar to systems or support systems that you have in place today, except this includes the hardware.
The only other question would be, where is this $8,000, this new $8,000 coming from that we can afford that? Thank you.
Mr. Manager.
So, just for clarification, we did a project back, I want to say last year, where we did go with Google to back up our emails that we did not have any backup for. Things that we had an issue with were retention of emails when we went to court cases and things of that nature. So that's a completely separate situation. What this one is the actual information that we utilize on a day-to-day basis when people come in and pay bills, when people come in and make tax payments, when people come in and do business with the city, completely separate from emails. That's an internal thing. This is an external. What we're faced with right now is the city's IT infrastructure is bad at best. Let me just say it like that. So here's where we are. We can put an investment up roughly about $100,000 to get our systems up and running now, or we can pay to have our systems managed and hosted, and then not spend $100,000 to this year, and then pay for the license and stuff that goes along with it, and then do it again in 2 years, and then keep doing it, versus what we're proposing. That's the difference in what the cloud, because it's a cloud system, but it's not, it doesn't have anything to do with the Google Cloud that we did for our internet. These are 2 separate projects at this time.
Honorable Mayor, I would ask that we would ask our finance director to do the same thing he did with the grass. Is bring us back a comprehensive study on how much we spent on telecommunications, because every month we've been paying individuals.
Yeah.
And I just got told that the money they're spending is bad.
Mayor Pro Tem, I'm asking the council, no, not to you, the side comments, the amens. Let's please have a civilized, orderly meeting where the person who has the floor has the floor. Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor. I would ask again through the chair that our finance director would do comprehensive report on telecommunications and IT services, because we've been paying an enormous amount of money every month. We say yes, and I'm seeing IT services, all these other different kind of companies coming through, and I just got told that our infrastructure is bad. Our IT is bad. So why have we been spending bad money? I don't understand. If we keep reinventing wheels, but then next time they sell us something, this is a Rolls Royce compared to the Pinto we've been paying a Rolls Royce price for. We need a study done on how much we've spent in the past. And if this is a management problem, or I know something has to be, there's something wrong with this, that we've been spending money on IT every month, and I just got told it's bad. Is the system compromised?
Mr. Manager.
I'm gonna make the same statement we made at the committee meeting. CCAT Technologies was here in early 2000s. CCAT Technology installed what we have as a backbone initially. Through the emergency manager and relationships that certain people had here, with other IT people. They came in and completely revamped it, quote unquote. We had the study done back in March, I believe, this year, where we know now that the system that we have currently is being managed, but it's at a point now where it needs to be completely replaced. That's hundreds of thousands of dollars. That's where we are right now. And if we're going to spend money, we need to spend it wisely, in the sense that either you can say, we won't spend $100,000, and then we have to end up, we can't do what we need to do because we don't have the proper equipment, or we can spend the money and move forward. We're writing a loan that was done at the time the emergency manager came in 2010, 2011. We are dealing with that. That's what we're dealing with. We've had to do what we had to do to make the system last, but we can't keep babying it any longer. It's time to stop, and we need to fix it. That's where we are right now.
Commissioner Singleton.
Mr. Manager, can you speak to, I think you spoke to some about the need for something more secure with the city income taxes?
Absolutely. The city has enacted an income tax. And with the current state of what we have, I want to make sure, we need to make sure that the income tax information is secure, is reliable, and make sure that there's no potential breach of information, because you're talking about people's social security numbers and things of that nature. We need to make sure that we do the best job by those that are going to entrust their information with us.
So I think that, I mean, just in looking at, just especially a technology standpoint, the city of Benton Harbor is years behind in technology. I'm going to a conference next week where cities are light years ahead of us in terms of innovation, but from a technology standpoint, the city, if we're going to compete and protect our intellectual property, staff information, income tax information, that we cannot continue to operate in a dark age or in a dinosaur age. We gotta bring the technology up to the 21st century, but at the same time, we got to be able to protect it as well. So I thank you for your presentation. And I thank the manager and staff for pushing this forward to the city council. Thank you. Yes, sir.
Yes, Mr. Chair, I wanted to discuss the savings on the phone service with the manager.
Well, this all that's part of the consent calendar. But I think that's pretty clear. Madam Clerk.
We need a motion, Your Honor. We need a motion to approve.
Motion made by Commissioner Henderson.
Support.
Supported by Commissioner Isom. Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Jones?
No.
No?
No.
Commissioner Harrelson?
Yes.
Commissioner Henderson? Yes. Commissioner Isom?
Yes.
Commissioner Henry?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Seats?
No.
Commissioner Adams?
No.
Commissioner Singleton?
Yes.
Mayor Mohammed?
Yes.
Motion carried, Your Honor.
Mr. Manager.
At this time, we have two items that were tabled last week, last commission, I'm sorry. One of them is the approval of the roof work. And that, I will read that, and then there's a motion that's needed to untable this. We need to untable it first, correct? So the commission needs to, there needs to be a motion to untable this item.
Is there a motion to bring this item out of old business? Motion made by Commissioner Henderson.
Support.
supported by Commissioner Harrelson.
Commissioner Harrelson,
Yes.
Commissioner Henry,
Yes.
Commissioner Singleton,
Yes.
Commissioner Isom,
Yes.
Commissioner Jones,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem seats,
No.
Commissioner Adams,
Yes.
Commissioner Henderson,
Yes.
Mayor Mohammed.
Yes.
Motion carries.
The item before the commission is approval of roof work by Future Construction. There's minor repair work that needs to be done on the roof at City Hall. This repair work will correct the prominent existing upstairs hallway and prevent further damage. City solicited bids for these repairs and received 2 bids. The bids were received from Future Construction and Holt Strauss Roofing Company. Future Construction submitted a low bid in the amount of $4,450. Recommendation that Mayor Mohammed and the Benton Harbor City Commission approve the roof work at City Hall in the amount of $4,450 to Future Construction Incorporated.
This is up for discussion.
We need a
Make a
motion to
motion.
approve.
Motion made by Commissioner Adams, supported by Commissioner Henderson. Discussion.
This came through personnel finance, and we found out what more I missed there.
Speak in your mic, please.
I was unable to make it to the Personnel and Finance Committee meeting. What other, investigative things did we find out in regards to, the last roof work that was done? And, the amounts that were spent and how long ago has it been? And if in fact, warranty, guarantee, or anything is on that work, this work. Spent a lot of money on a lot of things. I heard, in the course of the last 10 years, actually 8, since emergency management, a lot of work has gone thousands of dollars into this roof.
Mr.
We
Manager.
need satisfactory work, quality stuff done. To keep visiting the same thing every 2-3 years.
Mr. Manager.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Commissioner Adams, to your question, when the city got the roof done back in 2011, I do believe it was at no cost to the city of Benton Harbor. The city got a grant from the Clean Energy Coalition that paid for the roof to be installed. What you paid for after that, subsequent to that, was tuck pointing on the brickwork. That needed to be done, which really had nothing to do with the roofing. What this is that the roof that was put in, there was some issues that have come up, and as I explained at the last meeting, getting the information from when the emergency manager was around here. The Clean Energy Coalition, the young lady who worked for them, has now moved on, and so the young lady that was a contact for that, I don't have anymore. And the Clean Energy Coalition does not have the information relative, they have the grant, but they don't have the information relative to who actually did the work. So, where we are, again, another emergency manager situation, where we're cleaning up some mistakes of stuff that happened during that time. We were asked at that time to look at what it would cost to do a complete roof job, and that estimate is in your packet. It says, basically, I can read it. We estimate that the replacement cost of a roof over City Hall second floor at approximately $50,000 to $55,000. This assumes replacing the membrane and insulation. If existing insulation can be reused, it would be $10,000 to $12,000. This estimate includes extending the roofing membrane over the backside of the parapet wall where presently there is exposed concrete unit masonry. This was from Jeff Saylor, who is an engineer that works for the city. And again, the amount estimated was $50,000 to $55,000. The amount for this repair is $4,450.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem.
Yeah, Mayor, I was in Holland today, and I looked at the City Hall roof, and it looked just so remarkable. I think we need to go ahead and spend $55,000 and go get a roof done. It's amazing that I see a whole lot of heads shaking and stuff passed to this committee, and nobody got no information. The issue was the warranty, and somebody coming to do the work for over $4,000 or $5,000 giving us a 90-day warranty. But yet and still, we still got the same information that we had last meeting, and it's brought back. So, you know, I was in Grand Rapids the other day, and I was in Michigan City too, and I looked at their city halls, they just look so remarkable. You know, so if we're gonna spend $8,000 a month on phone service, let's just go ahead and get a whole roof for $55,000. I vote that we just go ahead and get the whole roof fixed, and it was potentially said there for $15,000 or $55,000. So I would support, and I don't know how in the world you get a grant and get work done, but don't nobody know who did the work. I've never heard of that. I mean, not in, how you get a grant, but don't nobody know what even how much the grant was? Not even the company that was here? Not the work they did or nothing? We gotta quit blaming the emergency manager for everything. There's some things that is bad record keeping on our part. But I can't believe that we got a grant and don't nobody know how much the money was spent and what contractor got that check. So what probably need to happen, we need to contact them or the bank and find out who cashed the check for the roof. Somebody had to cash the check. Somebody had to, don't nobody do work without check. They got paid to do a job. How do we know how long the warranty was then, if we don't know how much it was? If we got no paperwork? Again, I'm saying this on record, I'm tired of the filibustering. If I don't see it in black and white, I am not supporting it no more. I'm tired of it. We get a bunch of gibber and talk, but we don't get black and white paperwork. This is government. This is not the bingo hall. We need paperwork to support statements. If there's a grant, let's follow the grant. This shouldn't have came back here without a 90-day warranty for $5,000. It shouldn't be here again.
Commissioner Singleton.
I'm trying to remember, this didn't, first time it came through the committee, and we did ask about the warranty and stuff, and I thought it was a different time, but when it came to the commission meeting, it was said it was 90 days. Okay. But then this last committee meeting, I was late, I don't remember discussing this again. This just come back to the agenda with basically no new information. I don't remember this coming through the last personnel finance committee with any new information. And as the chair, I know I was late to this come back.
What, Commissioner Adams?
Thank you. If I'm not mistaken, the way a grant works, which are taxpayers' dollars, we spend the money out of our general fund and we're reimbursed.
Not all grants are.
Okay, well, maybe not all grants, but it's bad governing on our part if we are not doing proper record keeping of work that's being done in our community, for our community. I don't see us spending $4,000 on a rat hole when we need to just take what it takes. If it's $50,000, we can find money for everything else to find the money and fix the roof, period. But I will not support this.
Well, I can't say, or I dare to say, that what I have witnessed, serving under 2 emergency managers, where the first one left the city of Benton Harbor with less than $3,000 in the general fund, along with a litany of bad governmental choices, which is why the state removed him. To not find paperwork from a grant does not surprise me. Considering all the other abuses that took place under that form of government. I think that it boils down to if we want to fix the roof or not. I don't think it's $50 or $55,000 budgeted for that, given that it was only $22,000 in the black, the budget that was presented to the state of Michigan. So there would have to be some amendment to the budget, because I don't believe, unless I'm wrong, that $55,000 is budgeted in this 2018-2019 budget. So it's just a pleasure of the council. Do we want to have the roof fixed, or do we want to leave it as is? Commissioner Henry.
Well, it seems like we got a problem we need to fix. Now, my suggestion is, if you're having a problem with a 90-day warranty, that after the job has been completed, test it. Get the fire department to bring a hose out, and if it leaks inside, they'll come back and fix it. But we've done this before, paid a lot of money, and after the warranty is over, then the winter come in and everything start leaking. Too late, warranty is over. So we have spent a lot of money on roofing. I've seen a lot of money leave this community for roofing. And it's not just an emergency management. It came before them too. So if I'm hearing and understanding you right, the whole roof has been evaluated, except where the problem is. And they've said there is a problem right here. Why not fix it? We should fix it. But we should make sure that we test it before those 90 days is over. So they can make sure that they're doing good work for our money. And I can almost guarantee you that they say there's $10,000 to $20,000 of insulation that we might can use. There's going to be a change order, and that price will go up. I can guarantee you. But we got to fix the problem. We can't keep kicking the can down the road.
Mr. Manager, I would ask, what exactly is this 4,000? Just, I mean, you don't have to get into a construction detailed explanation, but exactly what will be remedied or fixed in this old him, this old leaking roof. Mr. Manager.
Thank you. What was identified as some issues were that some of the gluing that was done where the layers of roofing came together, there were some issues with that. There's some issues where where it was put into the wall, that the old flashing was left, so they're going to take that out and redo it. That's really kind of the gist of it. And what's happening is the water is finding places where it can go, and it just happens to be on the upper level of City Hall, more so in the front part where the hallway is, and this part where the office of the commission, city manager office is that area. Yes, sir.
Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor. That two-part question. I thought we paid for some tuck point work to be done last year. It was along with that ramp and that front door project. I thought we paid for tuck point, and then I remember that was part of that. I know my memory, I'm getting a little bit older. But this, and if the tuck point work was bad, then the contractor that we hired to do that need to come back and fix the tuck point. This went out March 6th by Abermarsh. And it says that a pre-bid meeting, non-mandatory, will be on March 1st, 2018 at 11 o'clock. The owner has the right, reserved the right to reject any and all bids, waive any informalities in bidding or accept bid or bids consistent with the law which best serves the interests of the owner. No bid shall be withdrawn for a period of 60 days after the scheduled opening without the consent of the owner. All work will be subject to local income tax, blah, blah, blah. But this happened March 6th. If my calendar is right, it says 60 days. This is only August. So who rejected bids, and did we see the other bids? I think as a commission, it would do us due diligence, because as our beloved finance director so stated the other day, is you may pay $25 today for grass cutting and paper everywhere, but why not spend $5 more and have them pick up the paper? So I'm saying that to this commission, we might have had a better deal at $6,000 and somebody gave us a better warranty. But we don't have a choice whether to reject, project, see whatever else is out there. We get one bid and it's over, we don't see the rest. This is the best. I just thought we were going back to the drawing board, Honorable Mayor, when we rejected this proposal last time or tabled this motion, because 90 days is no time for work to be done at a city government building. So you might not want to buy quality now, but you're gonna buy quality later.
So what kind of warranty are we looking for?
At least a year. I wouldn't have nobody working at my house, Honorable Mayor, with a 90-day warranty on the roof, a flat roof. At that, a flat roof is almost guaranteed to leak. And if it's 91 days, we're gonna be paying them $4 more thousand.
Well, I know winter is coming.
That's the best time not to have it done, because it's gonna freeze.
Well, no, these Michigan winters, it was a little warm this past. But again, it's the, you know, does the council, do we want to put out an RFP where we're saying we want some contractor to guarantee a year? Or 2 years? Do we want $10,000 worth of work done? Do we want $55,000? You know, what is the pleasure of the council? Because if we're gonna table it, then I think we need to put some direction in it where the manager is not doing hamster work, just running in circles trying to guess what we want. Mr. Manager.
Yes, Mr. Mayor and City Commission. This was RFP, and the ability to respond to it was by 2 people, and it was in your packet for your Personnel and Finance Committee, the first one. It was in the first packet, and it explained what needed to be done. So if only 2 people responded, that's who responded. And of the 2, one was $10,750, the other one was $4,450. The reason why you don't get a guarantee beyond what they're saying is that the contractor stated, I cannot guarantee that the roof won't ever leak again because I didn't install the original roof. That was said at the last meeting. Unless you get the whole roof done, they cannot guarantee there will be no more leaks because, again, that was not the entire roof being done. That's the issue with warranty on supplemental work, not original work. They're doing supplemental work to what was done originally.
Commissioner Singleton.
So on the other one, what was the warranty on the higher bid?
It's they both are saying that if they don't do the entire roof, they're going to give a 90-day, because again, if something leaks that's not what they do, they can't be held liable for it. That's the issue.
Commissioner Harrelson,
Thank you,
generally in the fourth ward, has nothing.
Mayor, my problem is, I agree with all my colleagues on their opinion. We need the roof fixed, and it seemed like just about 2 or 3 years ago, we had some work done on the roof. So we need to stop patching the roofs. But the problem we have is no record to what have been done. And that's the problem. Now, we shouldn't keep spending money and nobody knows where it's going. Have no proof, they may be putting it in their pocket. But nobody knows where the proof is at. So, we can't keep on losing the record of City Hall. This is not the first time records have come up missing. So we can't keep on bringing things to the table and don't have no records of it. I've been here a long time. I was gone 8 years, and there's records that before I left and came back that they cannot find on certain things. So we have a problem with record keeping. So we need to do better. Thank you.
Mr. Manager, is there any records on the previous work that was done from the grant?
On the work that was done by during the emergency manager?
Yes.
No. We can't, there is a ton of stuff that we're trying to find information on relative to stuff that was done. And it's not just emergency manager, it's emergency manager and some time before that we're looking to get information from. So the other thing about this, we talked about the work that we did work on the tuck pointing, because if you remember, at one point you had bricks falling from the front of City Hall. That was to secure the grout on the bricks so that we wouldn't have an issue when people came up potentially getting hit by that. So that was the work that was done around the entire City Hall perimeter. It wasn't any work done on the roof. It was done on the upper part of City Hall to secure that, Commissioner Harrelson.
And we haven't had any fallen bricks?
No, sir.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor. Well, since you said it, Honorable Mayor, I do appreciate all the information. But this roofing company right here says that the masonry work was in bad shape. And if we just had that done, maybe we need to call them back too. That's what it says right here. It says that once the roof art technicians noticed that the masonry wall was in bad shape, just say we just had that fixed, put new water up there to fix it.
He said the tuck point.
Tuck points, okay, but they, all right, but right here it said, this key word that they said from this other roofing company, and I'll just end my argument with this. It says to prevent building from leaking, keyword anymore. That sounds longer than 90 days. Thank you, Honorable Mayor.
Well, I'm sure they could keep it leaking for any more, for $50,000 or $55,000.
That's only 10, Honorable Mayor.
Well, do this council want to pay $10,000?
Longer warranty?
I don't think they're offering a longer warranty.
You can't get an oil change of a bad motor.
What I mean, do we have the money?
Can we use our block grant dollars
You just said you had $8,000 more.
for community?
One last statement, and then after.
Commissioner Adams had a hand.
I just can't believe that as many times that we've sat in this chamber and voted on spending stuff for basically the need of our public safety, public works, and some other things. We seem to find this money. Don't tell me that we can't find no money to fix the roof of City Hall. There's some money somewhere and somebody know how to find it. If something else has to lack.
Manager,
just reading from Hoekstra Roofing Company contract terms, it says limited warranty. The warranty, if the work is subject to a limited warranty.
Future construction.
No, this is Hoekstra's. No, this is Hoekstra's. This is Hoekstra's. says Hulkster across the top. The same shall be in writing and signed by the builder, provided, however, that even where a limited warranty applies, the owner agrees that there shall be no warranty of any kind related to any portion of the work, which is repair work, as opposed to complete and replacement or the completion of new work provided by the builder to which the limited warranty may apply. So unless there is new work, Hulkster says they're not going to warranty it at all. So that
Could you read Future?
Futures, Hulkster provided that. I talked with Future because they were the low bidder.
Future put their warranty in writing.
I can get them to put it in writing, that's not a problem. I'll have them put it in writing, but I've talked to them.
Can we send this back?
Commissioner Singleton.
Thank you, Councilman. It's almost like a rock and a hard place. You spend almost $5,000, 90 days, and then you go to Lincoln, and then you gotta spend 50 to get the whole work done, so now you're at 55 or 60. I'm saying that somehow, I guess we just got to amend budget, do something, work out something, and just go ahead and get the whole thing done. And this new, the $50,000 thing was kind of new to me. If I'd have knew that back in the committee, I probably said then that let's do it, especially with the 90-day warranty. You looking at what to get it done? You talking about November, December, January? You're leaking for, and I think we just gotta figure out some type of way to just go ahead and really that type of money for this size of roof.
That was done before I talked about it.
Commissioner Henderson.
I just have a question. Did they say that the whole roof needed to be replaced?
No, ma'am, they did not.
That was done in the high tower.
Thank you.
Before you left.
I'll call for the question.
Madam Clerk.
This is on the approval of the item. Commissioner Singleton?
No.
Commissioner Henderson?
Yes.
Commissioner Adams?
No.
Mayor Pro Tem Seats?
No.
Commissioner Henry?
Yes.
Commissioner Harrelson?
Yes.
Commissioner Jones?
No.
Commissioner Ison?
Yes.
Mayor Mohammed?
Yes.
Motion carries, Your Honor.
The next item that is under the old business is the settlement of Michigan Tax Tribunal case. This item also needs to have a recommendation to be removed off the table.
Make a motion to remove it.
Is there information gonna come from the attorney?
That was I was gonna say that.
Then I would prefer that we be updated by the attorney before we remove this item or take action.
But you have to remove it in order to do that. So if you have to remove it, you have to untable it to then go into closed session about it, because if you don't untable it, you're essentially not dealing with the item.
Yes, sir.
That makes sense. What would have to happen is the commission would have to vote to untable it and then reserve action on it until after a closed session where the attorney can give information relative to this item, and then you would return to then act on it.
Thank you. Is there a motion? Motion made by Commissioner Henderson,
Support.
supported by Commissioner Harrelson. Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Henderson?
Yes.
Commissioner Ison?
Yes.
Commissioner Harrelson?
Yes.
Commissioner Henry?
Yes.
Commissioner Singleton?
Yes.
Commissioner Adams?
Yes.
Commissioner Jones?
No.
No?
No.
Mayor Pro Tem Seats?
Yeah.
Mayor Mohammed?
Yes.
Motion carries.
City Attorney.
Thank you. Please, the mayor What is now before the commission is adopt a resolution approving the settlement of Michigan Tax Tribunal case. That was presented at the last commission meeting, August 6th. I was not present for that meeting. I have to advise the council, as the mayor's already indicated, that this is a subject matter that can be discussed in closed session. And if the commission desires to discuss it in closed session, there would have to be a motion to go into closed session to discuss pending litigation, which this is. And then if that is the desire of the commission, I recommend that your city assessor, probably the finance director, and myself be allowed to attend that closed session. And also, Mayor, I also note that I have no additional information from August 6th, because again, I don't know what was discussed on August 6th other than what is reflected in your minutes.
Thank you. Commissioner Henry.
Why would we need to go in closed session for something like this?
Because it's pending litigation and it's in court.
Okay. I'll do it. I'll make the motion later. Go on.
Commissioner Adams.
I was under the assumption that this was something that we discussed outright before in regards to, if this is the item that we tabled, did we not discuss this outright publicly and got answers from a couple of our administrative employees?
This is a legal matter.
No.
And our city attorney was not present at that time. So he is present today to advise us from a legal perspective. Mayor Pro Tem.
Honorable Mayor, with all due respect, if he has no further information, can we see if the assessor or the finance director has any new information? Because nobody has any new information.
That will be done in a closed session.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor.
So is it the pleasure of the council to, Commissioner Henry?
I'm just trying to get clarity. I do remember being at committee meeting and talking about this publicly. Everything, we got our director's opinion. And so, what's the secret now? And the attorney don't have anything to say different other than, well, he wasn't there, so he didn't respond to it, but we opened this conversation up. This is public information. I'm not sure what the reason why we're closing. I heard you say it's litigation. Then why did we talk about it in committee? It's the people's business we're talking about. It's the people's business that we talked about in committee meeting, and this subject is people business. So if the attorney don't have anything to say, what closed session do we need?
Well, the agenda was approved with a closed session.
Who asked for that?
That's on the agenda that
No,
you
no,
approved.
who asked for that? Who asked for it to be closed?
Who?
Because someone has to ask for a closed session. And it has to be someone that's appropriate for the issue that's going on. So, who asked for a closed session?
City manager.
Commissioner Henry.
There you go.
The question was, the issue was that if the attorney had any additional information relative to that, it would be given in closed session. So the closed session was put on here if there was any additional information. He has said there is none. You don't have to go into closed session for that.
Okay.
So if there's no additional information, which is attorney-client privilege, then there is no need to go into closed session for this. You can basically make a determination on this item absent a closed session.
No, perfect clarification. And for my colleagues that weren't at the committee meeting, it was a great discussion about it. And I'm sure all of you sitting here now got question after question after question. But I think it's something that we need to be dealing with, so.
So this item was taken out of old business. Is there a motion to adopt a resolution approving the settlement of Michigan Tax Tribunal case?
Okay, it's just closed from the.
This is on the item.
On the actual item?
Yes.
Okay, so.
A motion, is there a motion to adopt a resolution approving the settlement of Michigan Tax Tribunal case?
I put a motion on the floor to approve that.
Motion made by Commissioner Commissioner Henry. The motion only opens it for discussion.
Support.
Not approval.
Support.
Supported by Commissioner Adams. Is there discussion? Mayor Pro Tem Seats.
My only statement would be, is what he still stated before, and I still have not received that information. If somebody has received any brownfield, the agreement was when you receive brownfield that you cannot go to the tax tribunal.
That's right.
Whoa.
And I have not received that information from anybody, but that's part of the agreement, that if you receive any brownfield, that you are not supposed to go to tax tribunal. And nobody, I know everybody wanna flick around cash that's not theirs, but nobody has given me the information back that brownfield even says that if you receive brownfield money, you cannot go to tax. And I know that's gonna throw a monkey wrench in a whole lot of people's parade, but there's a lot of people at tax tribunal right now who has brownfield money and they're not supposed to be there.
Yep.
And until I get an answer for that, I don't think nobody should touch it.
Mr. Attorney, are you privileged to that information?
I'm not privileged to any information concerning the brownfield. I am aware that there were certain agreements executed by the city of Benton Harbor that disallowed going to the Michigan Tax Tribunal. There are agreements out there that allow them to go to the Michigan Tax Tribunal. On this specific matter, I'm not aware of any requirement that says that they cannot appeal to the Michigan Tax Tribunal. I have not seen that information. Nor have I been asked to inquire.
Mr. Manager, are you aware of that information? Is the Harbor Shores, this is the group?
Correct.
They're seeking settlement.
Correct.
Is there anything in their agreement that would forbid or prohibit them from going to the Michigan Tax Tribunal as it relates to, as stated by the Mayor Pro Tem, brownfield affiliation and or et cetera?
Mr. Mayor, the brownfield that controls this development is the county brownfield. And I am not privileged to any document or any agreement from the county brownfield, any development agreement that prohibits them from going to tax tribunal. I would have to ask that question of the county brownfield board to get that information. So like I said, this is in the brownfield of Berrien County. It is not the city's brownfield that handles this.
Honorable Mayor,
Yes, Commissioner Adams.
though much of the development is within the county's brownfield, some of it is in the cities as well, or we wouldn't be having this right here before us.
Mr. Manager.
Commissioner, they're appealing the tax values inside the city of Benton Harbor.
Exactly.
But that does not, they're not precluded from doing that, because that is not, what I'm saying is they can do that. But again, the brownfield that encompasses this entire development is the county, because it's multi-jurisdictional. So that's what I'm saying. The reason why it's in front of us is because it's our property, not because it's in our brownfield.
And it's time for them to pay? And they don't want to?
The issue is that they are contesting the values that were assessed to their properties in the city of Benton Harbor.
I'd like to yield to the city assessor. If you have any information to provide on this discussion.
I don't know what information you're specifically asking for. They're appealing the values of the golf course only. They're appealing 2017 and 2018, both years is before I was here. I'm not sure what else you would like to know. I'll answer anything I can for you.
What is the basis of their disagreement or their rejection of the value that currently is on the property?
Well, they feel that it's overvalued. They want it to be lower.
And what evidence have they produced?
Can I refer to the city attorney for that?
Thank you, Your Honor. One of the pieces of evidence is that the entire city of Benton Harbor has been reassessed. As a result of that reassessment, 2017 taxes were not continued and they were lowered markedly, almost as much as 50% on some of these properties, Your Honor. So the city's own assessing group that did the citywide assessment said that the properties out there were over-assessed, and therefore they revised those assessments for 2018. Now, in addition to that, they have received an initial assessment, and they have provided us with their figures, which would again suggest that the property has been over-assessed for calendar years 2017 and 2018. They have provided us with some settlement options, and I believe that's what the city assessor provided to this commission at the August 6th meeting as to the rationale why and what the cost would be to the city to enter into a settlement agreement. And that settlement offer extinguishes itself this evening, Your Honor. And after this evening, they're going to go and get their assessment, which will require the city of Benton Harbor to get an assessment. And we have a cost estimate for the assessment in the range of $10,000 to $15,000. So, if no action is taken this evening, I'm going to recommend to the city manager to immediately retain an assessor to appraise the property. And when I say assessor, I mean appraiser. To get an appraiser, and the city can anticipate that the cost of that appraisal will be in the range of $10,000 to $15,000.
Mayor Pro Tem.
It's amazing that people get tax breaks and still don't want to pay taxes and still want a discount. And again, we don't know who's working for who now. But Honorable Mayor, with all due respect, I thought we still have a piece in that pie on that property. Are they going to St. Joe and asking for the same thing for the parcel that they paid $200,000-something? I hope for a fact, and I'm talking, I hope for a fact that they tell the people who they're building those houses for that the property is undervalued and give them a break on the sale of that property. It's bad business to go to somebody and stick them and now try to knock them out. My other question is, Honorable Mayor, did our finance director go after the winner of the Harbor Shore, the senior PGA, who won that major cup for the millions of dollars, and did he get 5% of that? And tell them we'll settle on that for 2.5. Because if he made the money in our community, then he's supposed to pay that city income tax. That's what we were told when we voted.
Did he?
They are paying their income tax for the record.
No, I'm talking about the one that won.
I'm talking about from the one that won to the one who came in last place.
Well, after we get the money,
Everybody
we'll give it back to them.
The attorney did wanna.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor. In a partial response to Commissioner Seats' question, these tax parcels are located within the city of Benton Harbor, and there are tax parcels located in Benton Charter Township.
And St. John.
And St. John.
And St.
These
John.
appeals regarding these parcels are involving both the city of Benton Harbor as well as Benton Charter Township. And Benton Charter Township has the same issue as does the city commission, is to approve a proposed settlement or go to trial.
Commissioner Singleton.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor. As I remember from the committee meeting, it was discussed whether we should do this or not, and now the numbers is a little bit different. The contested part was, and if I'm correct, Madam Assessor, is the difference is something like $700-some thousand that they wanted, that they said should be lowered. Then, while you look for that, it was said basically that an appraiser would probably cost us $30,000 or something. You know, 10 to 15. I would rather roll the dice and spend the 10 to 15, and you know, if we lose, you know, hey, but you know, just to give up now at that, I think is wouldn't be good fiduciaries in doing that. So
I want to yield, if you're finished, I want to yield to the city assessor.
Thank you. They are asking for a reduction in taxable value of $1.7 million. It would, if we settled, that would cost the city approximately $33,000 that we would pay back if we settled. Keep in mind, it's not just the cost of the appraisal though, there's other costs associated with going to trial and fighting this. I mean, there's attorney fees as well, you know? So I would say it would be a safe bet that we'll probably spend more than $30,000 fighting it, and it's not going to get settled right away. It's going to drag on for another couple of years. So it's really, you know, up to you guys if we just settle it now and be done with it, or if you want to, you know, put out the funds to go ahead and fight it. Now I want to warn you that there's been several golf course Michigan tax tribunals in the state of Michigan in the last decade. I've been through a couple of them, and it doesn't look good for us. Golf courses, themselves don't generate a lot of value. Okay, and the tribunal recognizes that. So we can fight it, but it's not going to be an easy win. I just want you to go into the decision knowing the odds. I'm not recommending either way. It's completely up to the commission how you want it to be handled.
Commissioner Singleton.
are those, through the chair, Assessor, are those golf courses that you're talking about comparable to the Great Jack Nicklaus golf course that they
No, sir.
crowded out to be $500 million?
The ones I was involved in, no, they're not. They're not comparable, no. But I'm not comparing the values either. I'm just telling you what's happened in golf course cases in general.
So the 22 acres of beachfront, lakefront property that the city leased for 99 years or 105 years? 99 years. Is that part of the parcels?
Well, no, sir, because that's tax exempt.
That's tax exempt. So it just, and this is the problem that I have. The city of Benton Harbor, from my perspective, and I'm speaking to the public, went to great extents to make this and realize this pro senior PGA golf course and resort. I think that should be added, and it's unfortunate that now that the course is maturing, we've had, I believe, 4 senior PGA events, and now all of a sudden the city is being confronted and faced with a do this or we're going to do that type of proposition, which really is an indecent, from my perspective, proposal. And it's a clean way, and I'm looking for the word, kind of extortion tactics, where you settle with now, or you're gonna have to pay or fight us in court for 2 to 3 years, and you're gonna pay more later. So I just don't really like the look of it, the face of it, and I can't support it. Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor. That was well spoken. I do concur with you 130%, Honorable Mayor. You know, I think every one of them that's trying to get this tax tribunal money who got tax exempt or a tax break, we should put their name on the front of the building with a big banner.
Yeah.
And put the educational system on there.
Yeah.
Because they're choking the education system out. They're choking City Hall out. They're choking public taxes out. And we've given enough. We gave millions of dollars of tax breaks. Multi-million dollars. And in the words of one of the very most profound speakers, that commission was hoodwinked. They were bamboozled. They were told that we were gonna get water parks and jobs and all this for the community. And now they coming back to say, well, thank you for the breaks, but we need a little bit more out you. Then we getting told now that if we fight, it's gonna cost more. Well, what they gonna threaten us with, poverty? We already got that. I mean, we need more missionaries and less, more settlers and less missionaries. You know, the turkeys and hams and the backpacks and all that, it don't equate to the breaks they got. You know, and I'm done after I say this. Kellogg down in Battle Creek just gave $60 million to Detroit, to Battle Creek Central. Put $10 million in the downtown. I'm talking this resolution. And they want to put all that money in one location. So I can't support it. They're choking out education. They're choking out the Benton Harbor government. And if not enough, now you don't know who's working for who. I don't want my heart doctor trying to fix my liver. I don't want my liver doctor to try to fix my heart. You know, and I don't want a dentist who won't have no teeth. So, I can't support any kind of settlement with anybody who's got brownfield, who's got multi-millions of dollars of tax breaks. And tell them they can keep the concert. Because if it's gonna cost us $33,000, then keep it.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor Pro Tem. I think that unless there's more, Commissioner Henry, you have the last word on this.
Thank you, Mayor. I want everybody to really think about something past their nose. You gotta look out a little further. These guys are been partners with us for years. And you keep repeating that our past colleagues, let them have everything. We even created some things for them. But they're proven now to be great partners to us. They realize that we're financially strapped. They realize that if this happens, the school system gotta pay back a big chunk of money. Everybody gotta do it. They realize that. And when Harbor Shores went to court, they had 27 lawyers. And we had 3. Now, we got a set of lawyers now. I wouldn't trust our lawyers to handle this case with 27 professional, high-paying lawyers. I think this is a lose-lose situation. They have us by the toes. Either way it goes, we're going to spend hundreds of dollars, thousands of dollars going back to court and this here and that there. Let's give this scrimmage up. It's a small battle, but they're still here. They're not going anywhere, and they're going to come back again. So we got to be prepared for them. You want to fight? Get yourself ready for the fight. Don't jump in it because they jumping in it because they already know they got the power. We ain't gonna do nothing but suffer. Our attorney, 4 years of Benton Harbor Housing Commission. How long do you think Harbor Shores can keep this going? We gotta cut our losses and be prepared for the next battle. This is a small scrimmage. They know what they're doing. They're sitting laughing right now. But as you know, things are changing in the world.
Well,
Let's think about what we're doing and the bottom line of the outcome.
Well, I would just say, Commissioner Henry, that I think, and a wise man told me, it's gonna take a turn that they least expect.
That's right.
I call for the question.
Mayor Pro Tem Sears.
No.
Commissioner Henderson. No. Commissioner Jones.
No.
Commissioner Isom.
No.
Commissioner Adams.
No.
Commissioner Harrelson.
No.
Commissioner Singleton.
No.
Commissioner Henry.
Yes.
Mayor Muhammad.
No.
Motion fails, Your Honor.
This brings us to a closed session regarding the city manager, communication by our staff, officials. I'd like to start with our Deputy Director of Public Safety, Deputy Clark.
Good evening. Just a quick update. I know in the past some people have brought some concerns about abandoned vehicles, cars being scattered to and fro. We've been actively targeting that about once a week, pulling 10 cars roughly at a time. If you know where some abandoned cars are, or you see it where we can't readily get to them, report it, let us know. If they're undrivable, completely destroyed, like if it's just a frame sitting there, we don't have to wait 48 hours to tow it. If it's a drivable vehicle, we have to tag it, wait 48 for them to move it. But if it's something that can't be driven, we can tow it immediately. So if you see it, let us know, and we're working through that. That's one of the projects we picked up recently. So far, we've got 25.
Thank you, Deputy. I'll yield to us, the assessor, Ms. Story.
No comment tonight, thanks.
I yield to the finance director, Mr.
Thank you,
Clark.
Honorable Mayor. No comment tonight, thank you.
Yield to the city attorney.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just want to say thank you to the commission for the appointment of the ad hoc committee. And we're looking forward to getting with that ad hoc committee and reviewing the information that we can provide to you regarding the contracts currently in existence or future contracts that will get negotiated. So
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Director Sims.
Thank you, Mayor. Just briefly, I just wanted to give a brief update on CDBG and rehab. Right now, we currently have 6 projects underway. And I just invite you all to this Wednesday's Planning and Economic Development Committee meeting, where I'll be giving a presentation about kind of just some more background about CDBG, a refresher, and more about the program. Thank you.
Did you get any information, or is it time to announce?
No, we have not received anything official yet, so I cannot divulge. Thank you.
Madam Clerk.
The planning commission is scheduled for tomorrow, planning commission meeting, I'm sorry, is scheduled for tomorrow at 1:00 p.m. as well as the city income tax oversight panel meeting at 5:00 p.m. I also wanted to report that we had an 8% voter turnout for the primary election, which was low throughout the entire state. And that's all that I have.
Thank you. Mr. Manager.
Just quickly to let the commission know, Friday the city will be having their DEQ sanitary survey, which we do every 3 years. So it is that time again. So Friday I will be meeting with the state engineer along with Mr. O'Malley in regards to the system, the water system, the sanitary system, storm system, things of that nature. And that will be, like I said, Friday, and then the report will be given to the city commission afterwards, after that's done, and they give us a report back. Also, I want to offer my condolences to Commissioner Adams. I don't have any words, just my prayers are with you and your family.
Commissioner Harrelson.
Thank you, Your Honor, Mayor. I'd like to thank the citizens for coming out, seeing your government in action on tonight. And I just like to give Commissioner Adams my condolences. I lost a son also, but I'd like to give my condolences. And it's something that I didn't write down, but thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Harrelson. Commissioner Henderson. Excuse me, Commissioner Henry.
Thank you, Mayor. I want to thank the citizens for coming out. I want to ask my colleagues to please be diligent to the information you get, no matter where it's coming from. Verify it. It's your duty to verify what's being said to you, because 5 years from now, 10 years from now, people will be looking at our decisions and saying, wow, what was they on? The same way we're talking about our other ones, they're gonna be looking at us the same way. So if we're not taking the interest of the citizens and making sure that citizens have some benefits in the city, you see our partners are making sure that they get everything they want. And we have to do whatever we can to make the citizens know that they're appreciated, they have services, their quality of life should improve under our watch. And it only will happen if we do something. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Henry. Commissioner Jones.
Yes. As of late, I've been hearing a lot of stories about police actions that have been taking place in the last couple of months or so. Very interesting that as a collective body, we still haven't performed any check and balances concerning this. It's amazing to me that I'm hearing the same person's name before I came on the commission. Once I got appointed on the commission, after I was elected on the commission, until my own interaction with this individual, and his name keep coming up. I'm looking at our questionable actions as a body, holding Paris conferences, and I'm wondering if this is supposed to be just a certain gesture of false solidarity, or are we actually really wanting to address these issues that's so-called concerning our community? I'm here on this commission, and I guess I'm following along with the same thing. It must be just something to say we're doing something that's not being had. And for me to be a victim, I don't appreciate that. I noticed y'all eyes when you mentioned about being choked out. Has anybody been choked out before, or even closer, just faint? I noticed y'all's eyes either averted up or looked away. Imagine you stop breathing right now. Your eyes just go dim. Not a good feeling. I never had the pleasure. What I said here on May 21st, had I did what was done to that young man there, you wouldn't heard nothing else about me. I would have been thrown under the bus. If I was thrown out in the lake, you wouldn't heard no more about me. If we're gonna continue to do these questionable actions and make like we support of our community, but does nothing, what's the point? Why even go out there to say you're about your community or make these press conferences? But yet we have enough hot air to talk tough to each other in here with these false temporal attitudes and quickly learn once you get outside them doors, it's a different world. Right? We can do that, but we can't do a collective check and balances here. And that's disturbing. Very disturbing. Some of y'all have to have it land in your own backyard to really understand it real deep. I live beyond raccoons or whatever laying in my driveway. I seen a badger on the street in front of the house. I ain't take no offense to it. But a person addressing me that had no reason to talk to me is a problem. We need to do something about that instead of playing like we don't know anything that's going on. We're gonna have to stop making like we got something to cover up by saying one good action. Let's give you a good example. He got plucked upside his head. But hey, the police did a community action where they want to clean up the community. How did that erase that one bad attitude? I'm not saying that all officers are bad. But one bad apple will screw it up for the rest. Something needs to be corrected. I agree with the mayor. We're behind in technology, right? But what intellectual properties do we have? We don't get enough of using these words we don't quite understand. That young man did not have a presentation. He did an overview. And I would agree with the mayor pro tem. A presentation would have had graph charts and showing you how the network works. I've been out the biz 26 years. He says he's been strong 20 years. If our technology is so behind, what they doing with cameras? What they doing with dash cams? That means we rendered useless here in the community. What's the point of having these things if they not up to date, whether it's supposed to be internal or external? It's still part of a supportive system. The problem with all of this is what I said when I first got installed here. We need to educate ourselves. How are we going to provide anything to our community as well as ourselves without educating ourselves? That's your real intangible intellectual property, and it ain't having been used probably in 64 years. If you count that, that means we're going back to the 50s. What needs to be done here, City Hall on out, is an efficiency study. When has the last time we've done an efficiency study? We still have complaints about workers with attitudes people failing to pay their bills because they don't want to deal with individuals.
Commissioner Jones, could you finish your point, please?
The point is still going. Just exactly what I was just mentioning, temporary attitudes. We need to do better within ourselves than to keep pointing fingers. I have more support from the emergency manager than some of the other guys that was here with the commission. Need to be an efficiency study done to know how we really should be spending our money more wisely, right? Instead of saying that that's what we're doing, that's correct. We're not going all our way to make sure things are handled in an efficient manner. That's why money is just flowing out unaccounted for. We don't have no records or anything. What intellectual properties do we have here in the city? Really?
Thank you, Commissioner Jones. Commissioner Henderson.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor. I'd just like to start my comments with saying shame, shame, shame. I understand business. I understand businesses need to make money, and our properties did decrease. My property decreased, but I didn't go to the tax tribunal to get my taxes lower because I live in the city and wanted to contribute to this city. So shame, shame, shame on those entities. I also feel like that it is a payback for the city income taxes, why many people are going back and saying that they want their property values lowered or getting refunds from that. So shame, shame, shame. We have a failing school system, a impoverished community, and individuals who have promised or have said that they support this community getting and taken out really frustrates and upsets me and many of my colleagues who I have disagreed about different things, but I definitely agree with them on this particular issue. It is a shame, and it should be printed in the newspaper that this is happening. Those names, those individuals who are actually doing that, who have gotten large tax breaks, that should be printed in the newspaper so people know and understand what's happening. We are being held hostage, and it is a shame. We have a failing school system. It's a shame. And we have these people in the community who are benefiting from that, which is fine, I understand that, but it is a shame, and it does need to be broadcast so that everybody knows that it's a shame and it's happening in our community. Thank you, and I hope more people are speaking out and getting involved, because it is an absolute shame that this is happening. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Henderson. Commissioner Singleton.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor. Mr. Jones, I really enjoyed that conversation. You don't say a lot, but you made up for it tonight. That's some serious stuff that some self-checking that we have to do. And I think, sitting here as on the body that's supposed to, oversee and look out for the people, we got to definitely do a better job. And with the tax thing, when I first looked at that project years ago, and all the commercials and all the hoopla about how great and valuable these things are, and then when you done got about everything you gonna get, then you want to come back and say it ain't worth all that. That's I don't know what kind of game that is, but I'd rather go ahead and take that fight, and if it don't win, at least I fought. So I just think somebody mentioned about this board. We talk about the past and everything. We do got to leave that alone, but we got to look forward to better days and just and continue to make good decisions. The argument and stuff, well, it's good argument. It's arguing your case. Lawyers do it every day. So I think we'll have when we sit here and talk and discuss and argue, that we're trying to reach the best decision for the people we represent. So, question to the, if I may, Chair, to the Deputy Director, we talk about the abandoned vehicles. What constitutes, a abandoned vehicle? I think people need to know that, because the department, I don't know if you was here then, but there was a lot of issues, with abandoned vehicles. Some of them was going out getting cherry picked, that was, when some folks end up going to jail for it. So if a person, type of community we live in, if a person, they working 2 jobs and they buy a car, can't afford, Michigan got the highest insurance in the country. So they buy their car, unable to get the insurance and the license. You gotta have insurance to get the license plate. So they're unable to do those things, so they gotta work a few more weeks or whatever, and the car sit in the yard with no plates on it, not registered. But it's a good car. The department use discretion in those areas. Yes.
I mean, I think, maybe those who have questions can contact the public safety or maybe.
What?
It's not really a.
Okay. Well, I would ask just, Mayor, that, through the mayor, through the manager, that, a discussion be had on that in the, Public Safety Committee.
Thank you. Commissioner Isom.
No comment.
Commissioner Adams.
I want to thank everybody for coming out this evening. I want to thank everybody for their prayers. And Commissioner Jones, I'm glad to see you back here. The last time you came and you put forth some very grave concerns, as this young man did this evening. It reminds me of why my brother's keeper was put in place. And it's still very much alive. And we need to keep data on a whole lot of stuff. And it's too much to bear for one person. But we all need to get involved and stay involved. And we need to act like we're doing what we took an oath to do. Because I probably asked for your vote. And if I'm to improve your quality of life, then there's some things that I need to do. And if we do better communication with public safety and all the other, everybody, I mean just the community as a whole, as long as we're communicating. I saw a very interesting meeting over at, I was late getting there, but there have been several. And I've touched base with the young man that actually spoke with some of the officers. And they've been running these classes, and I hope they continue. Because when I saw it happening and gaining legs, I was able to step back from ALPAC. But that's very important all across this nation. Because that's never okay with me. And it doesn't sit well with my soul, and it shouldn't with any of you all either. And as the mother of 5 boys, I've lost my firstborn, and I just lost my baby last week. And one of the things that I've been fighting for is something that she desperately needed, which was medication, not to smoke marijuana. I saw a special today on a whole lot of parents. A whole lot of parents that have moved their whole families out to Denver, Colorado, where they can get their babies this oil. A lot of people don't understand these children's hearts stop on them at night. And they just naturally go into a reflex. And it's just like any kid, you can't watch them 24 hours a day. And my baby passed due to a seizure. She was 33 years old. Next week she would have been 34. But I'm good. The misery still dwells down here amongst us, and we better learn how to get along with one another and express love. and concern for one another, but when you leave, ain't none of us taking nothing either. Be blessed.
Thank you, Commissioner Adams. Mayor Pro Tem Seats.
My sincere prayers are with you, Commissioner Adams. You are one of our sheroes down here, and I don't know what it is to lose children, but we're definitely keeping you in our prayers. And anything that I can do, I mean that, I'm willing to do to help you through this process. I do almost got a little choked up there, Jesus. It's bigger than us. You know, I would ask anybody who's here who have a moment to read books. Grab a book called The Miseducation of the Negro, and you will understand really what this is about. You know, a lot of times we talk and let me get back to something real quick. I got 3 minutes, I got 2 minutes and 59 seconds. Y'all voted on the wooden nickel. It's sad that y'all voted on this and didn't even look at the numbers. The numbers from this blacked out statements don't even equal what y'all voted on. But yet nobody asked no questions and nothing. Why don't y'all get, I know y'all got a calculator on your phone, add up your total current charges and then put them together and see how much you got. But that's how we have been contained, because it's known that we don't read. People don't read. Add it up together. Then tell me what you come up with, and then tell me if I'm wrong. But that's what we do. You know, we give misinformation, we get educated on information that we know nothing about. Then we say yeah, but then if it don't work after we say yeah, we never come back and fix it. We cycle. I ain't heard nothing today about we cycle at all. We put a 30-day notice into them. I didn't hear anything about we cycle, no update, nothing about what's going on with them. But this is the kind of stuff that we do. And Commissioner Jones, I'm with you 100%, brother. It's time for, I want to see the tape of that individual. I want to see the tape of the bridge individual. And I want to see that tape of also the officer who's being convicted right now, because he was not the only one there. And I want to know the disciplinary action that is happening for this unusual punishment. Let the crime fit the punishment. All this whooping people and kneeing them and elbowing them and slamming them. If you go on YouTube, there's one right now that has police brutality in Benton Harbor. And you can hear the man screaming. So, you know, again, I was in the paper, somebody wrote a letter, and they probably write another one again. They said Commissioner Seats is tired of buying toys, but we whooping people and can't find murderers. I mean, this boy just got shot over here the other day. We got warrants out, and people are not getting found. Gunshots all over the community. But we got cars driving everywhere, and I'm seeing cars all in St. Joe to get free McDonald's. You know, and cars left running, and that goes to the committee even. We have to right wrongs and stop sweeping them over. And thank you, Honorable Mayor. I know I got to finish this comment, and I'm going to finish it with this. But we cannot fix just this or just that. There's still an elephant in the room that has not been fixed for years. And we need to fix this problem, whether we got to get the director here, and we ask if a new officer is hired, they come to the meeting, and the only time I see new officers, if I see them on the street. That's not right. Maybe they would treat us better if they knew who we were. But you shake their hand and they look at you like you spitting it, and we paying their bills. So, we gotta do something. And ain't no use of tucking your heads, tucking your hands. We gotta do something to right the wrongs.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem Seats. I'd like to thank all the residents for coming out. I'd like to thank the staff and manager the clerk for putting the agenda together. I'd like to give my condolences and prayers to Commissioner Adams and family. I'd like to also give prayers to the young lady who's fighting for her life. There was a group of young women, 3 were shot. One is fighting as we speak. I have said that we need to stop the violence, but I would add to that we need to stop the silence. Because we need to have people to speak up and speak out against these type of atrocities that are plaguing our community. I've seen some who come and protest at City Hall because of something that somebody white did. But when it's us killing each other, don't nobody see nothing. And no protest. I think we need to have the same type of zeal and vigilance for all wrongdoing across the board, as well as police misconduct, as well as police brutality, and even citizens invoking assault and crime and domestic violence, etc. I could call the roll. I would like to see the tape, what this young man described. I hope that the tape would show something different. I want to read something here. It says, "Woe to the cheaters, who when they take the measure of their dues from men, take it fully. And when they measure out to others, or weigh out for them, they give less than is due." And that's from the Holy Quran, which you get way up in the masonry, they give you one. But that's a whole nother conversation. Or the shrine, I should say. But suffice it to say, I agree with Commissioner Henderson. I think it's unfortunate that we are experiencing all different types of protests, people changing addresses, people going to the tax tribunal, certain businesses, certain ones relocating. The CEO of Ben Harbor area schools, now a state quasi-emergency manager, takes a whole administration building and moves it out into the township with all of the heavy, fat salaries for all of the consultants and friends and family from somewhere else come and suck the blood of the community that's already suffering from this type of behavior. So thank you. I know that's a little raw, but we like it like that. Like to, I don't know if recess is the right word, when in motion to recess into closed session. The attorney.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, the city commission can go into closed session for only certain reasons. One is to consider the periodic evaluation of a city employee. I'm not sure the calling of this closed session, what has precipitated it, but it will require a vote of the city commission to go into closed session to consider a periodic evaluation, dismissal. It says dismissal, suspension, or disciplining, or hear complaints, or as I already suggested, consider a periodic personal evaluation of a city employee. So in order to go into closed session for city manager, the reason's gotta be stated, the vote's gotta be taken.
Is it, within the legal bounds, if an employee requests?
The employee can request that those discussions take place in closed session. And then if he does, then it has to be in closed session.
From my understanding, it was by request.
Okay.
Is there a motion to go into a closed session regarding the city manager employment agreement?
Yes.
Support.
Motion made by Mayor Pro Tem Seat, supported by Commissioner Singleton. Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Henry,
Yes.
Commissioner Singleton,
Yes.
Commissioner Adams,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Seat,
Yes.
Commissioner Harrelson,
Yes.
Commissioner Isel,
Yes.
Commissioner Henderson, yes. Commissioner Jones,
Yes.
Mayor Mohammed,
Yes.
motion carries.
And Mr. Mayor, who do you want to be present during the closed session?
The 9 council members, city attorney, and the city clerk, and the city manager.
Thank you.